This episode is brought to you by Indeed. When your computer breaks, you don't wait for it to magically start working again. You fix the problem. So why wait to hire the people your company desperately needs? Use Indeed's sponsored jobs to hire top talent fast. And even better, you only pay for results. There's no need to wait. Speed up your hiring with a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply.
When you love riding a motorcycle, you want to ride it everywhere, even to a physical.
Let's check your weight. Hop on the scale. Look at that. You're down a few pounds.
Oh, yeah. Must be the new carbon fiber wheels.
And when you love saving money, you want to save even more. That's why Geico makes it easy to bundle your motorcycle and car insurance.
I'm going to prescribe 91 octane for your engine knock, and we'll want to see you again in 3,000 miles.
Kickstart your savings with Geico Motorcycle. Bundle and save on the things you love.
The Bob and Tom Show presents the Bits and Pieces Podcast. This podcast is Chick McGee approved.
Thank you, Chick. Welcome to Bits and Pieces, the podcast where we remember famous and forgotten Bob and Tom Show comedy bits. I'm Willie Griswold, joined as always by Jason and Jess and Jessica, and today we are talking pups. We're talking puppies. We're talking doggos. I do not have a dog right now. Jess and Jessica, do either of you have dogs?
I have a cat. She thinks she's a dog, so that's pretty cool. If you whistle, she'll come.
Same here.
Yeah, my cat does that too. I have a cat and a dog. But here's the thing. I like other people's dogs. I don't like my dog. I like my kids. I don't like other people's kids. Like, that's just, that's my motto.
I like my chili. I don't like other people's
Exactly.
chili. It applies to everything.
It applies to a lot of things. Yeah.
I like it when I wear overalls. No one else can wear overalls. I started overalls.
Willie, do you have a dog?
I don't have a dog, but growing up, I had like a bunch of dogs always,
yeah.
and I love dogs. I just can't take all the responsibility, and especially like when stand-up comes back and I'll be gone on weekends.
Yeah.
I can't have that. But I love dogs, and whenever I go to my dad's house, like I spend a lot of time with my little sisters.
Yeah.
But I spend the first like 10 minutes locked in on a couch. I got a dog right in my face,
Right.
and then Finley and Hart, they run up. I talk to my dad a little bit, but you got to get that dog time in there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And then once you've been there a while, they're like, all right, whatever.
Yeah.
Thanks for stopping by.
I am wildly allergic to dogs and cats. Like, whenever we bring a new pet into the house, I just have to like give it 3 to 6 months. It's going to suck. I have to get used to their dander, but I can never pet them. They can't be in the same room like where I sleep. They can't lay on the blankets where I am because I just explode. It's awful.
That's how I am with cats.
Yeah.
But I think I'm okay with dogs. I haven't experienced it as much.
I'm pretty much the same way. It's like the only time I can really pet the cat with my hands is I'm getting ready to take a shower.
Right.
Let's do this.
Yeah, exactly.
And then I'm going to be able to steam out all the nastiness from
All
the
the
nose.
dander.
Because usually I just pet her with my foot, and so I think she has foot fetish now. Like, she tries to like trip people, like when they're walking, they're like, "Oh, you trying to pet me?" And then you almost step on her. It's a whole joke.
You pet your cat with a foot?
Wait, if you're in my shoe, whatever. I just stand up like, "Hey, Riri." And she's like,
that's what I have to do. I feel like that's why I'm not a big pet person, because I don't get like to like lay with a pet and hug a pet and like have like a relationship, because they just make my eyes swell in water.
Well, that's why you have kids, You can just love up on them.
I'm not allergic to them yet.
I know how
we
much.
are missing out. We can't cuddle with animals.
I
Just
know.
put them right in our face.
I know
Maybe
how much.
that's why we're the weird girls.
Yeah.
You guys are weird?
Oh, yeah.
Cool, weird.
Oh, no, Jess, I was just going to say, I know how much 17-year-old boys love cuddling up with their mama. I know that's just their favorite thing.
Oh, you guys, and it's been a rough go. Our house got hit by COVID, except it was at their dad's house, so I didn't get to see them or touch them, or like I saw them through the window and I would drop off stuff, but like as soon as I was able to hug my son, I was like, "You haven't had physical touch," and he was like, "Stop saying that."
Oh my gosh, you're taller. Have you been working out? Oh.
Yeah, and I was like, "No, you just have to like hug. Like, it's good. It's good for your immune system. It's good for everything. Like your brain, you need we are born needing physical touch." And he was like, "If you say physical touch one more time."
Hilarious.
I just imagine like when the Apollo astronauts came back and they're like in that little glass bubble, and that's how it was for a couple weeks for you seeing your kids.
I know it was. It was. I have a picture of me, which I didn't realize how emotional I would be. My son took it. I took dry erase markers over to to their dad's house, and I played tic-tac-toe with Addie, and she was on one side and I was on the other. It was 0 degrees outside, and I was like, I had gloves and I was all bundled up and doing it, and Max took a picture of us and he sent it to us, and I was like, this is the saddest thing I've ever seen.
That's very, very cute. I like that a lot. And before we play our first bit, I just want to say, Jess, you have incredible Instagram stories.
Yeah.
And my favorite thing happened when you were doing an Instagram story yesterday, and then Addie was in the background, and you could just see your sweet teenage girl just slowly start to back out, like she was a robber seen by security camera.
She saw what I was doing, and I was like, oh, there's Addie, and she was like, hush. She's very sweet. She never says shut up. She says hush.
Jess Hooker on Instagram at @JessHooker_.
Yes.
Nice. Okay, well, we're doing dog bits today, but first, we missed celebrating President's Day, so here's a makeup bit.
We have gone to great lengths to have our special Bob and Tom microphone set up, and we've actually recorded the dog's thoughts during the Easter egg hunt on the White House.
The Easter egg roll yesterday, yeah.
Well, I think I'm going to like it here. They seem like pretty nice digs, but I gotta admit, I'm still a little freaked out about this morning. Now, I could have sworn I saw the President of the United States, the most powerful man in the world, whizzing in my water bowl. What's up with that? Wow, would you look at all these kids? This is going to be awesome. Kids are just little transport systems for crumbs. I don't even have to look for food. I can just lick a kid's face and hands and score half a can of SpaghettiOs. Oh, boy. Lots of ladies and nice dresses. Let's take a walk under. Whoa! I thought the Bush family had already moved out. It sounds like I've got a big week ahead. Press conference tomorrow. And then this weekend, I'm supposed to meet someone named Neuter. Sounds German. Yo, half pint. I don't know what you're looking at, but hands off the steamer. I just dropped that bad boy. You put that thing in your basket, your mom's gonna have a conniption. You know what I could really go for about now? What? Some bologna or a dead bird. Who's got bologna? Anybody? Anybody want to make a bologna run? Who's the dog got a hump to get some bologna around here? I guess they're all looking for these damned eggs. I don't know why, but I licked a couple, and it's no big deal. Hey! Here's a couple more hiding under my tail I could lick. Woohoo! Let me just give them a slurp. Oh, my God. That is fantastic. Has anyone else tried this? Anyone? Don't mind me, everybody. Go on ahead. I'll just be here licking for the next few hours. What are you staring at, buddy?
And little did he know, a week later, his eggs would be neutered. The poor guy. That was a very odd bit. Is that Salgy as the dog? Mm-hmm. I couldn't tell. I thought it was Salgy. I thought it was Dean for a second. I love that bit, though. It's so odd.
There's some bits that didn't get through the screening process that had Dean doing a dog bit.
Oh, really?
One of my favorites, actually. Sorry to talk about bits we don't play, but Marge and the Chihuahua is one of my all-time favorite inappropriate bits. Yeah.
Why is it inappropriate?
Yeah, there's some stuff. I feel like we may be playing, but I feel like I'd be pushing it. We have plenty of others.
Okay.
But no, that was Salgy. Usually Dean does play the role of the animal.
Yeah.
But that's definitely a Salgy.
Well, I was just going to say, I liked the writing of it. It reminded me of like kind of old, very club, like stand-up comedy in the way of like, hey, what's up with that? And then going, a lot of kids here, a lot of kids. It was very kind of shticky observational stand-up.
Oh, yeah, I agree.
What year was that? Do you have any idea?
I'm guessing it was when Obama came in.
I was going to say it was after the Bushes.
Yeah, after the Bushes.
It had to be 09, 10 at the latest, maybe, I'd say.
Yeah, probably around 10 or something.
Yeah. So long ago, I can't even remember.
I know. Oh, goodness.
Yeah, but there's something unsalgy about that voice. I don't know what it is, but it's just like, I don't know. You know somebody's good when you go, is it? I can't tell.
You know, I get it. Kind of sound like Haywood for a second. You know, when he does like the. I only have one life to give for my country. Like one of those things.
Yeah. Because it didn't sound like Captain Dave. It didn't sound like Ernie Fergler, and those are sort of the ones that I zoom in on when I think of Salji. It did sound more like Haywood. I think that's really interesting.
Yeah. Captain Dave needs a dog. Dogs love being out on water.
I'm just trying to think of like a sea dog pun right now. I can't.
Oh yeah.
You could do sea do if you're writing it, but that doesn't work as well if it's written. So, or if it's said out loud. Sea dog, sea do. I'm certain this pun is funny. I'm going to write it down to prove it to you guys. You're staring at me. I'm getting crickets.
I can't think of any. I'm terrible at puns. There's nothing I enjoy more.
Yeah. I just keep thinking sea biscuit, and then I was like, man, I want some biscuits. So sorry. Like,
get the poodle a pool noodle because there's water. I got nothing. See, terrible.
Yeah, neither.
I'll leave the puns to the professionals. I'm sorry.
No, I'm sorry. I led us down that path. Damn it, Willie. Come on.
Captain Dave and
Let's just talk about food. Okay. No, well, this actually really easy transition. We thought that was Haywood Banks. It wasn't. It was Steve Salji. But this is a delightful treat from Haywood Banks.
My dog is smelly. He can't catch a frisbee. He don't know when to stay or sit. But there's one thing I'll say that you can't take away. That dog is Fluffy. He digs in the garden, jumps up on my clean shirt. He barks at nothing the whole night through. But there's one thing I'll say that you can't take away. That dog is Fluffy. You might say Fluffy ain't no big deal in a world of Rin Tin Tins. But it turns out being Fluffy is the only thing there is of him. He sheds in the winter. He sheds in the summer. He bites the guy from UPS. But there's one thing I'll say that you can't take away. That dog is Fluffy. Yes, there's one thing I'll say that you can't take away. That doggy is Fluffy.
Yeah! Here's people. The genius of Haywood Banks. Haywood Bank, singular. So the genius of Haywood Banks. That dog is Fluffy. That's one of my favorite songs, and it reminds me a lot of a Todd Snyder song in that it's comedy-based, but it's very listenable.
Yes. Yeah. Yep. And I didn't... You said that perfectly. It's... When he was singing that, I was like, man, I would love to hear him sing like, adult, contemporary something, you know? I don't know what it would be, but I would just be curious to hear him sing a serious song.
Yeah, absolutely. Because a lot of these comedy songwriters do that.
Yeah.
Pat Godwin has serious songs.
He has. Have you ever heard any of his serious songs?
No, he's a great singer.
You guys, he's a great singer. He's a really great songwriter. I've heard a couple, and I'm just like in awe. Actually,
serious, as in like a darker tone, or I don't know how to say it, dramatic.
More. I mean, it.
I don't know how to describe music.
Pat is a deeply feeling person, and so he's been moved by relationships and wrote songs about them, and that's and you feel that. I mean, a good songwriter, you feel what they're feeling, and Pat has that ability.
Mm-hmm. And it's about relationships, but there's a little more emotion than let's do it on our first date.
Exactly.
It's not that kind of emotion.
More of a Taylor Swift first few album feels.
Yes. Yeah. It is. It's just, I don't know. It's just a very vulnerable Pat.
I think early on when he came on the show, he might have.
I'm pretty
sure
he
did one. Here's one of my straight songs.
Yeah. I think that he did.
I probably have that somewhere.
Ooh.
I can't think what it is.
I mean, and all those comedy musician guys, Todd Snyder, he's like a great singer-songwriter guy. He's in that category. Henry Phillips is like an amazing classically trained guitarist.
Yes.
And you never think about that.
Have you ever heard any of his straight music?
Yeah, he has straight
music.
music.
Oh, man.
I love his acting, though. He has a really funny bit part in the show Silicon Valley.
Yeah.
Not a bit part. It recurs, but it's he's just not one of the main guys. But you forget it with these comedy musicians. They're also just musicians.
Mm-hmm.
And that song really shows that, I think.
Yeah. Who came in here with Courtney J and they sang they sang the tattoo song?
Oh, Stephen Lynch.
Stephen Lynch.
Mm-hmm.
He's another one
Yep.
And I don't know if you guys, and Courtney J is just beautiful. I could look at her all day, but she has a beautiful voice and she has a new album coming out.
Oh, yeah? Okay.
Stephen Lynch played Robbie Hart, the wedding singer who was on Broadway.
Yeah. Oh, really?
That's right.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I love The Wedding Singer.
Me too.
It's such a good movie.
And then one more cool thing that just Bob and Tom does, I believe with that one, I'm not certain, but Todd Snyder, he played that live, and then we added bass and drums in after the fact, right?
Haywood, you mean, yes. But
what did I say, Snyder? Yeah, of course I did.
That's fine. No, it's fine. Yes. And obviously we had great musicians at the Shack all the time. And I think part of what you were thinking is Beer Run, because we did that to Beer Run.
Exactly.
Oh, there you go.
As we sweetened it.
Yeah.
It's very cool. I just love that notion that song was played just, kind of...
Yeah.
Just sort of busker style.
Mm-hmm.
It was just the instruments and the voice, and then we add a little bit to it, and we can turn it into something not better, but just we add a little more to it.
Yeah.
I've always loved that we do that.
Yeah, I do too.
All right, hell yeah. Well, we're moving on to this next one. It's the most silly. It's obviously my dad wrote this, and we'll know that because it's about dog turds.
And now a message from the Bob and Tom Pet Care Company.
Here, Figsy. Come here, boy. Good boy. Whoa. Hey, Dad. Figsy's breath really stinks.
Oh, I know, Sam. Ugh. Smells like Figsy's been eating his own poop again.
Oh. Gee, if only they made something to make his breath smell better. Sorry, Figs. We'll have to play Frisbee some other time. You're just like a furry turd.
Sound familiar? Does your dog love to dine on his own dog logs, leaving his breath smelling like a stopped-up commode? Well, have we got the answer for you? It's a peppermint-flavored lozenge made especially for dogs like yours. Introducing new Extra Mints.
Here, Figsy. Golly, that is some bad breath. Here, Figsy, try one of these new excrements. Wow, what a difference, huh, Dad?
You bet, Sam. Figsy's face may be covered in his own feces, but his breath is minty fresh.
Hey, Dad, look. Figsy's licking his crotch again. Do you think his breath is still fresh?
We'll never know, son.
Oh, God.
We'll never know. Hey, Sam, you know why a dog licks his own?
Yeah, because he can. I've heard it a million times.
Extra Mints. Fetch some today.
Hey, it's an old joke because it's a classic, you can't get it mad at a classic. Man. I believe that product is one of the millions of products that my dad thinks that he actually invented because about a year after this bit came out, they released dog-based mints. And I remember being at PetSmart or whatever. Look at this. They're stealing my ideas again. They're taking the ideas from old Tommy.
Well, actually, there's a weird story behind that because I was going through the archives early in my career here, and I heard Tom mention on the air, just in passing, that I think he said something. He and Ricky were working on some bit, or the term excrements came up on the air. Mm-hmm. And I made a note of it. And the next time I saw Tom, I said, "Did you ever do this bit?" "I don't ever remember." He goes, "We didn't." Oh. So then here he did the bit.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yes.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
Huh. Yeah. I don't know.
I had nothing to do with it other than just sparking that little fire in him.
Yeah.
But that's how that.
I'm sure there are a ton of bits that have come up on the air in passing that never see the light of day.
Yeah. The Post-it notes.
Oh, yeah, that's
the wasteland that those go to sometimes over there.
Yeah, I love how just disgusted Christy is through this whole
she's totally disgusted.
It's the same way Chick says, we're doing blatant hostility. No one
Yes.
else does that.
Yes.
Christy is absolutely disgusting.
That and what was the bit? I don't think we played it yet. Like Shat's beer or something like that. She's totally disgusted.
Disgusted the whole time. Yeah, yeah.
Which I think it brings Tom even more joy. Of course.
Oh yeah.
He's like a boy on the playground, like poo. I don't like the second P in poo. I can't do it.
No?
Poop. Ew. Ew. I can say any other word. I don't care. But
you can say poop.
I'll say it. But
Could you say poopy?
Poopy's easier.
It sounds cuter.
Poopy,
Yeah.
I'm having so much fun today.
Moist poopy. Okay, but it's just that poop.
So real quick, by order of appearance in that bit, we had my older brother Sam, I believe. Dean is the dog.
Again, like I said, he plays usually plays the animal.
I thought it was a dog.
And it's an established tradition on this show.
Yep.
My dad's playing himself. Chick's the announcer, which I when I think Bob and Tom announcers, I go right to Chick McGee. My older brother Sam, not very interesting or funny as a person. And everyone always says that Sam is a mean guy. No, I'm kidding. Everybody on the show always talks about how much better Sam is. And honestly, I will say Sam is the best older brother.
Yeah.
Sam will make me food from time to time. It'll bring it over for me. Aww. Sam is the reason I got into comedy. Like, Sam's the greatest. So whenever I do that...
Sam was, not your dad?
Sam, I never thought about doing comedy. It was just a thing that I loved and I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
But I didn't think that I could be a comedian until my older brother did it.
Aww.
When Sam did it, the first open mic I went to, I went with Sam. He was there performing, and then I showed up with my friends. We were all drunk as hell. And then I got on stage. It was after Monday Night Raw, actually. It was a really weird.
Fantastic.
It was a really weird night. Monday Night Raw, Thanksgiving weekend, 2014, I think.
I love this.
Yeah, I got drunk with my pals, went to Monday Night Raw, and then we left. I met with my brother at the open mic. Real fun. Yeah, but Sam is the greatest. That's all I wanted to say, and he does great work on that piece.
Well, let us be the judge of that. Are you aware of, if not, does he listen to the podcast?
Sam does not listen to the podcast.
Not quite the best.
Nobody that works here or that is on the podcast listen to the podcast.
Our boss listens.
Well, I know he listens.
He's on our staff.
Do you guys listen?
I listen when I'm on my exercise bike. I don't listen to the bits. I just listen and I go, why the hell did you do that? And it makes me bike faster. I just mic going, you're not funny. Oh, you're a damn phony. I swear. I view it like a football player watching tape.
Sure.
Like I listen to it to be like, here's how I can get better.
That makes sense.
I'm a psycho. I know.
Avoidance. I like to avoid everything. So just never getting better, just constantly living naively.
I think I listened when we first started doing podcasts in 12, and then I was just like, well, I'm either going to walk into traffic or I'm going to stop listening to these. So, I picked the latter.
I usually have the mentality of, I lived it.
Yeah, exactly.
I got to do the next thing.
Yeah.
But you should keep listening. Don't stop.
All right. Well, on that note, here is the next bit, and it is a side of Mr. Obvious that we rarely see.
Hi-ho, everyone. It's time for another episode of the wildly popular Mr. Obvious Show. I am, of course, your amiable, kindly host, Mr. Obvious. Let's take a call. Hello, Mr. Obvious Show?
Hello, is this Mr. Obvious?
Speaking.
Hi, Mr. Obvious. Long-time listener, first-time caller.
Well, I'm so glad you called, caller.
Me too, Mr. Obvious. Thanks for taking my call.
You're welcome, and do call again when you have more time.
Mr. Obvious?
Yes?
I wasn't finished.
Oh, I'm terribly sorry, caller. It's just that your proclamation seemed to have an air of finality to it.
Dang, Mr. Obvious, I love when you talk like that. You're quite the wordsmith, Mr. Obvious.
No need for effusive or laudatory comments, caller.
My head's spinning now. You're the best. Anyway, Mr. Obvious, I have a problem.
What's the problem, caller?
Well, I had my dog neutered.
Good for you, caller. You are a responsible pet owner. I applaud.
Well, yeah, Mr. Obvious, that's what I thought too, but now my dog seems to be upset with me.
Upset? Has he bitten you or something, caller?
No, nothing like that. But I just feel like he's getting a little upset or something.
I think that's understandable, caller. He's lost some pretty important equipment during that procedure.
Yeah, I know. I'm just a little worried, though.
Oh, my goodness, your dog hasn't bitten someone else, has he, caller?
No, Mr. Obvious. Laddie would never do that.
I'm sorry, Laddie's your dog's name, caller?
Oh, yeah, sure is, Mr. Obvious.
Well, has Laddie tried to run away or maybe made a mess in the house?
No, he sure hadn't.
Chewed up a pair of your favorite slippers?
No, I can't say that he has, Mr. Obvious.
I'm not sure I understand the problem then, caller. How can you tell he's upset?
Well, he just seems like he kind of ignores me, you know?
Caller, I just want to say I'm not into name calling, but I think you are being just a little silly about this whole thing.
I am?
Well, you be the judge. You're taking up valuable airtime that could be used by people with real significant problems to talk about your dog being mad at you. I think you seem to be just a little oversensitive.
Well, I mean, maybe you're right, Mr. Obvious, but I tell you what, I mean, sometimes he just doesn't even obey me or anything.
So he's become a little disobedient.
Yeah.
Well, I suspect that's just a little retaliatory phase he's going through. I wouldn't worry too much about it. I'm sure pretty soon he'll sit when you tell him to and roll over and play dead on command. I just don't see a problem here, caller.
So you don't think it's dangerous, Mr. Obvious?
Dangerous? I'm not sure how. You always keep him on a leash when you walk him, don't you?
Well, sure, Mr. Obvious. He's always on that leash.
Well, then I'm not sure how his disobedience would be dangerous, caller. I think you just need to wait for your dog to get over being upset with you and move on with your life.
Well, I'll sure try, Mr. Obvious. As soon as I get out of here, I'll try that.
Out of where, caller?
Out of the hospital.
What's wrong, caller?
Oh, I got 3 broken bones in my right leg and, about 170 stitches.
What? My land, caller, what happened?
Well, to be quite honest, Mr. Obvious, I'm not quite sure. I know that I got hit by a bus about a week ago, and let's see, yesterday I got hit by a delivery van. Really, that's about all I can remember.
Hit by a bus? A delivery van?
Uh-huh.
Excuse my French, caller, but how in the holy heck did that happen?
Well, Laddie and I were out.
Laddie, wait, caller. How's Laddie doing?
Oh, don't worry, Mr. Obvious. Laddie's fine. Thank goodness, not a scratch. He's a good dog, Mr. Obvious.
Caller?
Yes, Mr. Obvious.
Caller, how could you get hit by a bus and a delivery van while walking your dog, yet nothing happened to the dog?
Yeah, that is kind of weird, I guess. From what I understand from the witnesses, Laddie was already up on the curb.
Witnesses? Oh, my goodness. Caller, can I ask you a question?
What's that, Mr. Obvious?
Caller, are you blind?
Oh, yeah, sure am, Mr. Obvious. Didn't I mention that right at the beginning?
Did you mention it? Heck, no, you didn't mention it. I can't believe this. I was belittling you because I thought you were some hypersensitive little twin upset because his puppy was giving him the cold shoulder, and all the while you're a blind man being led into the path of speeding vehicles by some vindictive, sadistic canine.
I love them big fancy words, Mr. Obvious. So I didn't mention anything earlier about being blind.
No, God, caller, no, your dog's very dangerous. You need to get rid of him right now. Get yourself a new lead dog.
I do?
Yes, of course you do. You castrated him, and now he's trying to kill you.
I never made the connection.
That's our show for today. I have to go. It's hard for Mr. Obvious to say it, but I feel like such an idiot, like a big know-it-all, albeit with an above-average vocabulary. Stupid know-it-all, nonetheless. I'm sorry, caller.
Mr. Obvious?
What is it?
You don't think if I gave him a little treat or something, I might snap him out of it?
Oh, stop rubbing it in, caller. I'm sorry, darn it.
Hey, Mr. Obvious?
Yes.
You're a lifesaver.
I love it. It starts and ends the same. It's first time, last time. It ends and you're a lifesaver. But this time it goes crazy in the middle.
I think I heard that the first time it aired, and that may be the second time I've heard it.
I feel like this was pre-network, perhaps.
Oh, really?
I mean, it's a weird thing because Gunner's in there laughing.
Yeah.
But Chick obviously recorded it.
Oh.
But also Carlini's in there.
Oh.
Yeah, so it's
wow, that's a rabbit hole.
That's quite a rabbit hole, let me tell you.
Let's do it.
I almost think of that as it's a Mr. Obvious, but it also kind of functions like a long form version of spit take theater.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And maybe it's just because it's Chick and Dean.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just thinking through their voices. But I think the humor kind of functions in the same way.
Yeah.
And the way that they wait for that reveal of this poor guy.
Which took almost 4.5 minutes to get to the reveal.
Oh, yeah. It took a while to get there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I couldn't imagine writing like a sketch or writing a bit and you're getting to page 4 and you're like, we're just now discovering the guy's blind.
Yeah. I mean, that was a 6-minute bit. It didn't feel like a 6-minute bit, but 6-minute bits are pretty rare around here, especially now.
It's funny.
I loved it, yeah.
There's a wide range of emotion from Mr. Obvious.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's his usual cocky self. He's angry. Why waste my time? And then, oh my gosh, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Crying at the end.
Oh, I love it.
loved
That cries. I love it so much.
I love but Mr. Obvious would never tell a guy, well, don't you feel like you're wasting people's time?
You got to call in again about something else.
Oh, my goodness.
And I, they've done dozens of these, and I wonder how many of them start off with well, all right, thanks for calling. There has to be a handful.
A lot.
I feel like I've heard that plenty.
Oh my gosh, I wonder how many Mr. O's there are. I mean, there was a Mr. O album, obviously.
Double album.
Oh, there was a double.
And when I put that together, I purposely saved some good ones, like as if I was making a triple album. I saved a third one back, so I could put out a third one. I've told Tom many a time.
No way.
Yeah, we're kind of past CDs.
We can do digital downloads.
Sure.
For the VIPs, because you can become a Bob and Tom VIP by going to bobandtom.com/VIP.
Wait, by the way, that was very professional.
Thank you.
Can I make everyone kind of really sad for a second?
Yes, go.
So if we live in this world where Mr. Obvious, he has a first name, we learn about his first name. Mm-hmm. If we can learn so many hints, if we can find clues in these pieces like detectives, if we know that at one point this guy walked in on his wife with a handyman and saw her naked with a handyman, and he was so naive that he was just trying to measure her with the 2x4s or whatever it is. We know this man had the ability of sight at one point.
Yeah.
Does that mean at some point this man went blind, but he still calls into this radio show?
This is so meta.
That makes me so sad.
And still calls into it each time for the first time.
Well, because maybe when this thing that made him go blind, there was some sort of brain accident and he doesn't have memory. Oh, this poor guy.
Maybe he's living a Groundhog Day.
Oh, yeah.
And
Sure.
he gets up and these different things happen to him.
Or
and he calls into the show.
Or it begs the question, is this guy pranking the Mr. Obvious show? Has he known all this time? I don't know.
Man.
You guys, this is our SNL movie. Like we take all of the bits and the premises and we write a full feature film.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so it's like taking
yeah, like whichever one you want to do, Wayne's World or or Night at the Roxbury, it's Pat, like whatever the movies they've done, we could do that.
give me 3 days off and I will come back with a Mr. Obvious
Didn't
movie.
you just have 3 days off?
Don't say that out loud. Don't say that out loud.
Wasn't
Diving
it
into
four?
Mr. O
It wasn't
universe.
3, it was 2. It was 2 days, and then the
I
week
include
before
the
I also
weekend,
took
the
off
weekend.
1 day off. Hey, we're not even talking about that right now. We're talking about dogs. And dogs always have the day off, don't they?
Mm-hmm.
Gosh, my favorite thing to do, I know it's like sort of a hack bit, it's sort of an old bit, but walking around after you finish doing something, going to the dog, well, you didn't do any work today, did you? You've just been laying around rent-free.
Yeah.
That'll always make me laugh.
Yeah, we had a dog, like the weirdest, I always think of when you think about weird things that you do. I've never had a dog voice. I've always just talked to my dog like a human, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And so we had a dog named Robert, and I always called him Roberto de Janeiro. And I laughed so hard. And then Chick one day was like, "What did you just say?" I was like, "Roberto de Janeiro." He was like, "Wait, I have so many questions." But yeah, you always just say something weird to your
So
dog.
is it Rio de Janeiro and Robert De Niro and
Maybe
Dijon mustard?
That's the thing. I don't know where the connection started, but all I ever think of is the big Jesus statue.
Yeah, sure. Sure. Can I tell you something? I heard someone doing their dog voice on their Instagram story, and I was like, "Oh no, you have a bad dog voice."
I've never heard a bad dog voice. How bad was it?
I listened to it, and it was like nails on a chalkboard for me.
Yuck.
And it's such an expression of joy. I felt so bad. That's like hating someone's laugh. It's like, hey, you know the thing that you do when you're so happy your body can't take it?
Right.
I hate that noise. That's what a dog voice is, and I felt like such a jerk.
Oh, that's too bad. Do you like the person?
I do like the person, and I'm just like, am I getting cynical? What happened? Do I have any love
you've been
left
in here too long, pal.
Right. Was it like a Gen Z voice or something like, oh, I just can't go outside to walk right now because it's snowy. And I really don't want to deal with my wet.
It was too much of this in the dog voice. My puppy voice is more down here.
Yeah.
And they were doing this thing in the dog voice.
Yeah, no.
the sloth.
For me, puppy voices are down here. And I know that I shouldn't be critical of that. I know that it's bad, but I don't know. I'm sorry. This is like my confessional. Such a loser. Okay, well, let's get into our next bit. This is an instant classic from our favorite. It's Rob Haney.
Morning, Bob and Tom show.
Good morning. How are you guys?
Fine.
Guy's down in Florida. He's reading the classified ads, and he sees an ad that says, talking dog, $20. So he goes to the address, listens to the paper, knocks on the door. Guy answers the door. Guy says, I understand you got a talking dog for $20. And he goes, yep. He goes, can I see him? He goes, yep, he's in the bedroom. So he walks in the bedroom. Dog's laying on the bed, remote in hand, watching TV. Walks in the room. The dog goes, hey, how you doing? I can't believe this. You're a talking dog. What are you doing down here in Florida? He goes, well, I started out in New York. I used to teach other dogs how to lead the blind. And then, well, the Gulf War broke out. And so I went over there and I brought medicine to injured soldiers and rescued soldiers. And that was over. I came back to New York, and I was on Broadway for a while. I was in Riverdance. And of course, you had the tragedy with the Twin Towers, so I helped out there and started sniffing for bombs and things like that. And finally, I decided I'd had enough, and I was going to come down here to Florida to retire. Mm-hmm. The guy can't believe it. He walks back in the other room, the other guys. He goes, what's the deal? Why are you selling that talking dog for $20? The guy goes, 'cause he's a big liar.
He's a big liar. Yes, he is.
Is that Christy at the end?
No, it sounds like a comedian. Etta May, maybe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I know comedians' laughs.
Yeah,
and
no,
I
I
can
bet
tell
you
you
do.
a few I hate, by the way. That sounded like Etta May, I think.
Okay, yeah.
So that, to me, belongs in a weird genre of animal-based, like, street jokes. The one that it takes me to is the John Fox, on the captain of the boat and the parrot, I give, where's the boat? Mm-hmm. That's my favorite. This has a lot more setup to that, but it's just so odd that I could even form that box of jokes that you could drag it into, you know?
Yeah, no, that's true. I agree. Rob Haney is a very good storyteller.
Mm-hmm. The best.
Yeah, he's really good, and he looks just like my grandpa.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I kind of feel nostalgic when he tells the story.
What I recall about this joke, I think on the show that day, the show was taking phone calls from listeners doing dog voices or dog jokes.
That was the theme.
And that's why even in the bit, we mentioned it was Rob Haney, but he didn't even reveal it was him.
Yep.
And he just called in as a listener and obviously, knocked it out of the park. So that's what I recall from that day. Granted, obviously 9/11 was in 2001, so this was probably 02 or 03, I want to say.
Yeah, that's what I'm curious about. Do you guys, and I think that there is like a school of psychology, science, whatever behind this, but if you actually have the memory of something happening versus overhearing other people retell the story and then you decide it's a memory. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
so
sure.
I feel like I remember this happening. I remember Rob calling in and me hearing it and going, that's Haney. Is anybody going to say that's Haney? Mm-hmm. But excuse me, that was my lunch. But so I don't know. I just feel like I remember this happening and it being like a really cool kind of like behind the scenes. Does anybody else know that this is a comedian calling in as a listener and telling a joke? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I couldn't tell. I knew it was Haney right away.
Yeah.
Just because I've heard his voice my whole life. But I didn't know that it was going to be. I've heard this piece before, but I forgot that I'd heard it until he goes, 'cause he's a big liar.
Yeah.
Because that is like a punchline that I've written my own jokes in my head after I hear that.
Yeah.
That's such a weird little.
Have you
premise.
worked his club?
I never have, Rob, and I'm not worried about it. I'm not waiting for the phone call.
I don't think he runs it anymore.
I don't think he does either.
No, I'm just being a jerk about it.
Yeah. It's a
But
fun
call me
club.
Rob.
Yeah.
Yeah, Willie will be at Wiley's soon enough. Gosh, that'll be. The marketing, it's all right there.
Yeah.
Here's our next bit. It's Who Doesn't Love Dog Videos.
Hang on to your hats because we're going to get a whole lot of crazy. fire up that VCR and strap in because Frickabal's got a new video called Real Dogs on Video going. Oh, yeah, just the way you love them because these dogs are real. Real dogs on video going is non-stop canine action. Hey, just check out these crazy bitches. Whoa, that is some wild stuff. And we don't stop there. We hit the road with the Real Dogs on Video RV to find dogs going all across America. We got Real Dogs on Video going in a college dorm room, in a sorority house. Even real dogs we coaxed onto our RV with a doggy treat. Come here, come here, come here. Come here. Good boy. Now, is that enough barking for you?
Not really.
I didn't think so. We know how much you love seeing spring break action, so we're tossing in a bonus video. Real Dogs on Video at spring break going. These dogs are hot because these spring break hotspots, well, they're really hot. You get Real Dogs on Video going on South Beach, South Padre, Bourbon Street. And we know where it's real hot. So we're stopping in on the campus of Arizona State. Oh, yeah. Desert Dogs. And if that's not enough, there's one more bonus video. Real Young Dogs on Video going. Hey, fellas, you just gotta check out these puppies. Oh, yeah! That's Real Dogs on Video going. Real Dogs on Spring Break going. And Real Young Dogs on Video going. Do it, doggy style, and order now.
Great. So an allusion to, or not an allusion, a reference to Real Girls on Video going, woo!
Yeah.
The great Marty Bender does that voice, I believe?
Yeah, he does. Shout out Summer Hinkle. She is the...
She's the woo girl.
Yeah, she's a woo girl.
Yeah, we'll probably hit some beach bits or something.
Oh,
here
yeah, that'll be
next
fun.
month kind of thing. So,
Okay.
yeah, but that one is, like Marty made a franchise
He
out
did.
Of, out of real things on video.
Yeah.
And that's easily one of my favorite voices
Yeah.
of his when he really gets into it.
Because that is the exact opposite of Marty's real voice.
If you went into any bar, like, pre-COVID, and it was just like, oh, yeah,
Yeah.
everyone would probably lose their mind. Because I don't care young or old, you know that, right?
Right. Do you think... Have you ever seen Marty do that live, or do you think he just goes into, like, a studio somewhere where no one is, so you can't actually watch him do that voice?
Well, I know a little bit behind. I've done some bits with Marty in the room, and it is kind of fun.
I bet.
When he flips the switch. But the one other voice you heard in there was Chris Geisen, who is currently on our staff. And he produced all those. And it's like, well, why didn't Dean produce them? Well, a lot of times they're doing these things in the afternoon. And Marty comes up with an idea or whatever, and then he records later in the day. And Dean's gone by then. He's here at 6 a.m. So no, Chris Geisen would probably be the one to ask of Marty flipping the switch and getting into it.
Yeah.
It's so weird. It's such a fun bit, and it's so close to the thing it's making fun of.
Right.
I remember I used to stay up watching Comedy Central, watching South Park or whatever, and after a certain hour, there's not commercial breaks as much as just 5-minute mini movies of girls flashing, and then there's like the bars where they would show it'd be like whammo in big letters like in the old Batman cartoons, but it'd be over their breasts or whatever parts they're covering up. And I remember being a kid and almost staying up to watch those videos intentionally because as a little boy, the internet existed, but it wasn't the login sphere you have today,
right?
Where you can find anything, anytime. That was for a certain era of guys my age, I think that was how we unfortunately discovered our sexuality.
Yeah, there's a handful of girls I know that got bamboozled by the we're the real girls on video guys, and they weren't the real girls.
I bet there
on
ended up
video
being
guys.
a lot of those kind of dudes.
Yeah.
They were the fake girls on video guys?
Yes, they were. Well, real girls, fake guys.
Oh no!
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like, I'll be in your movie.
Mm-hmm.
Oh dang!
Yeah.
I know. I mean, it is kind of, it's a creepy thing to do, but it's got to be a pretty easy guy to pose as. All you need to do is like buy a visor and just kind of pop the collar on your shirt. Hey, what's going on? We got a van. My friend Chet's here.
Yeah.
Put some Oakleys in the back of your neck.
Right.
You could look like a producer for that in 10 seconds.
Carry around a fake camera. Doesn't have to work. Who cares?
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
And people will buy it probably.
Yeah. Now, did you guys notice the sort of dark humor in that one? Because I noticed you guys really didn't react to it.
Oh.
About the young pups?
No. Yeah, I know.
Come and get in the van.
You thought it was
Or
going
the-
that way. Yeah.
No, I missed
he
it.
was talking about where, like South Padre, South this. Then he said Bourbon Street.
Yeah.
And then there was a thunderstorm.
Yeah.
And he went, uh-oh.
Oh my gosh, Katrina?
Yes, that was a Katrina reference.
Dang! Missed it.
How deep and dark was that?
I'm really glad that you put a microscope over it.
You could have just breezed right by it.
They're fine now, right?
Yeah, I don't know. You know,
They're still recovering, I think.
in and out, deep breath. We're all good. Okay, we have one more bit. It's the one that one more bit, and it's a famous Chick McGee dog story.
We found a dog in our neighborhood over the weekend.
Really?
He came to our house. We got the number off the collar, called the guy, he came over and got it.
Good story.
Great story. Wow, cool.
This dog.
Did you call the Associated Press? They want to get that in the
but
wire.
it was a boy dog.
How'd you know?
This huge nutsack. It was unbelievable.
All right. Am I supposed to
Answer the phone, please.
All right. Morning, Bob and Tom show.
Hey, Bob and Tom show?
Yes.
Hey, I just heard Chick's great story.
Yeah, that was a great story,
Yeah, I
wasn't
found
it?
a dog.
Can you tell me, what was the part about
Well-
you got a number?
I got the number off his collar.
Wow!
Great story, huh?
You radio people, you're wild live.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
Yep.
Through the magic of tape. Listen to this great story.
Okay.
We found a dog in our neighborhood over the weekend.
Really?
He
Did
came
you
to our
keep it?
house. We got the number off the collar, called the guy, he came over and got it.
Good story.
Great story. That's it. That's the story. That's a killer.
Once again, if I didn't work on this show, I'd listen every day.
People say, where do you get your material?
That's right. It just
happens every day.
It's just those great day-to-day, life stories.
Oh my goodness, incredible!
You guys, I'm tearing up,
so
and
great,
I'm having yes, it is very funny. It makes me laugh hard every time. But I am having an emotional reaction to this because that was a while ago. That was 10 plus. Well, I know for a fact it was 12, 13, 14 years ago.
It was 20 years ago.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
May of 01 is what it says on here.
Oh my
era,
gosh.
baby.
Okay. Yeah. So, but for me, I listened to that. I listened to their voices at that time. And it's just that is our show in a nutshell. That whole experience, they are funny without trying. And Chick was just talking to talk and had I love them so much. I love the show so much. And it is literally like listening to old family videos.
Yep.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah.
It just makes me so happy and warm.
Chick is sharing himself.
Yes.
It's a stupid
It's so
story.
dull, yeah.
Bob, nice story.
Yeah.
Sarcastic, busting balls.
In
Dean
Chick's-
calls in.
In Chick's defense, the story, he wasn't done telling the story. He says, on the recording, it says the dog had huge balls.
Yeah.
He was clearly trying to go into something.
Right.
But once he realized that the joke was on,
Yes, it
that
was
Bob
done.
said it's a bad story, he goes,
Yeah.
oh yeah, it is a bad story. And then Dean calls in and
Yes.
adds to it.
Oh,
That-
it is. It is. It's just, it's like, I think we have those moments of seeing the grown up table,
Oh, yeah. Oh,
and
yeah.
them cracking jokes and making each other laugh. And this is just one of those moments where it's like, oh my gosh, this is the heart and soul of it. Makes me really happy.
Dean, obviously famous for many calls that you know about.
That guy though.
But when he
voice.
just responds to something silly on the air and just goes dark,
Yes.
and you radio guys and your crazy
Oh.
lies,
That is such a funny line.
I love it when he calls in as the listener and does that. And he was like, tell it again. Oh my gosh, I love that.
I'm trying to think of the last time Dean did that.
It was fairly recent.
He'll get a little loose with the Jumbo the elephant.
Yes.
But that's like a character, and that's specifically about elephants.
I remember he called in when Greg Warren was in the studio, and he was the college wrestler that he wrestled back in the day. And he's like, hey, man, I remember wrestling you. Or
the one that went to the Olympics.
Yeah.
But then Chick at the end, I haven't heard him say this in a while, but it sticks with me.
Yeah.
He goes, and he's completely, you know what? Well, I'm just gonna wind it back here, and we'll play it because he deserves credit for it, not me.
People say, where do you get your material?
That's right. It just happens
every day. Just those
No,
great
I didn't get it all the way. Here we go.
Yeah.
Killer.
Once again, if I didn't work on this show, I'd listen every day.
It's true. He's having such a good time. He acknowledges how great this is.
Yeah, I mean, I listened more when I didn't work here.
But it's funny. He's flipped, though, in recent years, giving Tom a hard time. Because what does he say?
Oh, yeah.
No one likes you.
No one likes you. Who's listening?
Who's listening to this? Who's listening?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Which is, of course, in the Chick way, he can do it. He can play both hands and still funny.
Well, no, he plays both hands, still funny, and both have the same amount of confidence.
Yes.
For both. Who's listening?
Yes.
No one's listening to this. And the same thing. I'd listen every day if I didn't work here.
Exactly. And like what Jess said, it's like when they're having fun, you as the listener, you're having fun.
You're having fun too. Absolutely.
That's what it is. I think when I was doing improv, it's like an Amy Poehler quote, no one's ever looked stupid if they're having fun. You know?
Yeah.
And that is just... Go have fun every day, and it's. I want to say a million more cliches now. I want to say the never work a day in your life thing. It's,
right, but it applies.
Yeah,
it applies. Yeah. Well, I just want you guys to know. Mark it today was the first episode where I almost cried. Almost cried. So we'll just see how far we can get without me actually crying.
I don't know. Today's episode 19. Let's do a challenge here. I bet you I can cry by 30.
Okay. All right. Challenge accepted.
If we would have recorded it a couple months ago, I might have cried.
What if it's like getting too close to 30 and I need to kind of bait it a little bit to make sure that I cry and I like, hey, Jason, by the way, this week, only episodes about divorce. Specifically mine. No, we're not doing that.
No, I've always figuring out ideas for a theme of a show, and I don't know if I'd have to do some digging, but bits that make you cry. I mean,
I don't know.
Is that a whole episode?
Let's do it. You can't schedule it after therapy either. You can't show up here right after therapy. That's not fair.
I won't cheat. All right, well, let's call it. That's Bits and Pieces. Thank you so much for listening. We'll see you next week.
Michael Rosenbaum and his Smallville co-stars take you behind the scenes of one of the greatest shows of all time.
We're going to watch every episode.
Join us. It's Big Talk.
You remember when I had to shave my head?
Oh, I think I was angry with this one.
On Smallville.
Yeah, I mean, I get it.
The scene you did, and this is the one that got me fired. Okay.
What?
Here we go. I love the excursions with me and Welling.
It's everything that Superman stands for.
It's Talkville.
Talkville. We always talk about it. It's a great thing.
The Smallville Rewatch Podcast. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.